What is up, winning team? This is about to be the most humbling video ever because I just took an L to Jezebel. I just took an L. I'm supposed to be in Italy. It's Zucro's birthday today. He's going to be 17. I've been looking forward to this since I was last there in summer. But you know what? I have myself to blame, so I'm not going to sugarcoat that, and I'm not going to act as if I'm some kind of victim here, because I'm not. But I'm going to tell you guys exactly what happened, because I have to go back to the airport to collect my luggage because I didn't fly yesterday. And I'm not going to get into the long details of the situation that happened, but let's just say long and short of it is I went through the normal things. I have like an airport kind of like thing. You guys know I've told you guys this number of times. You guys have seen me video. It was doing the same. I've recorded as well. I don't even know if I'm going to keep any of the footage, but I've recorded myself at the airport like the usual. As soon as I get past security, it's a vibe now. I can just chill and vibe, get food, whatever, get on the flight. But there was a lot going down at Stansted yesterday. They had like a fire and and also to fast forward back to my own situation, the storyline is that, so my flights were booked by obviously those guys over there, and they had booked them backwards. So they booked initially, I noticed this yesterday, not yesterday, the day before, they had booked them backwards. So I was going to do my check-in, like to check in 24 hours before my flight, and then I realized that my flight on yesterday was from Milan to London Stansted, and then my flight coming back was from London Stansted to Milan, but it should have been the other way around, basically, as in I should have been flying out from London Stansted to Milan yesterday, and then whenever the return flight was going to be the other way around. So anyway, so once I went to check in, and I noticed this was at 9 in the morning because my flight was going to be 9:20 a.m. yesterday. And I was worried about that because also I was on my period, like it was the first day of my period was yesterday. I feel a lot more like a human today. The flipping ice cream van song is traumatizing. If you guys know the ice cream man story, you'll know when I was 13 at school, this predator ice cream man. And every time I hear the ice cream van songs, like it's not the fault of the ice cream vans, but like now. But anyway, because he was just let back out because we didn't seem that traumatized. You guys aren't even on my tripod because my tripod is at the airport, if you can imagine. So I had to find something to record, which praise Jesus, because that would be the only thing that would really suck, because if I couldn't talk to you guys. So anyway, none of this is, I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. Like, don't feel sorry for me. Don't feel like bad about my circumstances, because this is my own doing. And I'll tell you why I say that. As a believer, and as somebody who was gearing up, like, so in Zucro's team, like, there's somebody, a woman I've identified as a Jezebel, who I don't trust. So this was the trip where I was like gearing myself up the last few weeks, like once I get to Italy this time, I'm going on spiritual warfare. Like, I'm going up against her, I'm going to fight against her, like in the spirit, like not in person. So I had that in my head, and I was like, I'm not going to hold back, because normally I hold back because, like, my friend, she didn't seem that bothered about, well, she kind of was like, I mean, this is the older generation thing, isn't it? Because she's part of Gen X, the generation I've been talking about. This is why this is all insane. And she was kind of like, well, there's not much we can do. We've done all we can do, and now we just have to let it go. And I was like, no, we can't let it go, because what had actually happened, you guys, Zucro wanted us to be there for 10 days, right? For 10 days this month. So I should have been in Arena di Verona when they're all performing in Verona today for 10 full days, and 10 full performances, right? And it was going to be the opportunity of a lifetime for me and the guys are there, because first of all, we would have all got to hang out for all that time. Second of all, like, it's the biggest event, and it's actually kind of, I'm going to come back to something she specifically said about this venue space, because it all ties in. That's why I'm like, there's no point me looking at it from a natural perspective, because I know that everything that's happening is very much a spiritual thing, right? So, you know, that day, obviously my brother brought me to the airport. Like, you know, it's the usual. He always helps me to get there. He doesn't take me to the airport, but he always, like, we always meet up, and he helps me to take my bags to like where I have to leave, and I can get one bus to Stansted Airport. That's what's actually the coolest thing about why I specifically requested with their team over there that like please let me fly out from Stansted, because it's like it's not far in, and by drive it is like half-hour drive from here. So it's like the best airport for me to go to. I can get there easily by train, I can get there by bus. I can literally walk and just get the bus and just get to the airport. So, and I like getting on the bus because I get to see, like where I live, I get to see more of the things because they take a longer route, slightly longer route. So I get to see all the nature, and it's nice. So, yeah. So, anyway, so I knew that, and this is what my thinking was going into it. Like, when I get there, I'm gonna be in. I didn't know what it was gonna cost. I anticipated me and my friend would fall out this time I got to see her, and I'll tell you guys why. Because where we were going to be performing, Arena di Verona, right? So if you guys remember the first time I went to Italy, I made a new friend, and she is the one I always tell you guys about, who's like performing musical theatre all over the countries. Last year she performed in Italy, Germany, and Austria. She was doing 3 different plays in like 2 or 3 different languages, because one of them she was performing in German, one of them she was performing in Italian, and I don't know if she performed in English, all over of Europe, and as a main character, because she did like Hercules. She was in Hercules. She did Hercules, Hairspray, and I think Sister Act were the 3 that she did. So I was like, whoa, you're like freaking killing it. So I was so happy for her, and like she's one of those people that, like, having been friends with her and hearing about her and spending time with her ever since I met her the first time I went to Italy, I realized that I need to level up. And so she's far ahead of me, you know what I mean, in life, in terms of like having herself together and like being in the career she wants. And it was like crazy because it was only the year before we met, she was like, I was just working as a manager in Amazon, like, and now my career is taking off. So I basically met her just as her career started to take off. And she's also the same person, the only person I actually messaged who I personally know, to tell her that I had my singing performance, because I knew she'd be happy for me, you know, and she'd be proud of me. And she was the one who I sent my song Scared to Live to, because I knew she'd be happy for me, and she would, like, you know. And so, yeah, you know, and it was when I went to see her that I got my favourite boots in Italy, which I was hoping to rebuy them this time, but nevertheless, none of this Jezebel sterling nonsense. So she's amazing. She's incredible. She's like a Disney princess, and she was actually a Disney princess. She was in the Disney 100. They did this tour all over the world, and she was one of the princesses, and she sounds like a prince. She's one of those people that she's so nice and light, bubbly, happy personality, wants to see the best in everybody, like really trusting as well. And so people like her I always, you know, protect with my life because I'm like, I'm not like that. I'm not nice and trusting. I don't have a pure soul. Like, I'm not a pure person. I'm not like nice and lovely and fuzzly. I'm like been through hell, come through hell, like devious, like delinquent. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, by nature, I'm a delinquent. I don't like to follow the rules. I don't like to do what I'm supposed to do. I like to break the rules. I like to do what I'm not supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? I like to misbehave. You know what I mean? And so I say the Lord has to work overtime with me, and that's why I really appreciate Him, because I feel like no one ever has, and honestly, well, no one ever has been understanding to my personality like the way God has, because God just knows that, like, this is just my daughter. She's just like that. She's just a delinquent. She's gonna break the rules. She's not gonna listen. She's going to mess up. She's gonna make mistakes, and I need to just be there for her, because it's a part of her personality, and it's part of also what makes her the woman I created her to be, in a good way as well, you know. So anyway, my friend in Italy, I thought we would fall out, right? The one who I'm going to meet, who's the same age as my mum. Now, the reason why I thought we were going to fall out is because she said something about this friend I just saw. So there's 2 friends here. There's friend A, same age as my mum, and there's friend B, Disney princess, okay? Friend A had also used to work with friend B, used to be in a similar position as me, like the younger sister character, because my friend A in Italy, who's my mum's age, she likes to try and do the, like, oh, you're just like my friend, my baby sister. She doesn't want to be considered in any type of mother, mentor level, which I get, because I feel like if to her it feels like it's aging her. So I was like, but she never really could commit to that. And I noticed that from early on. I've just kept it to myself. The only reason I'm even telling you guys now is because I finally opened up about it to somebody else yesterday. Or was it the day before? Anyway, and so friend A, older, had said about my Disney princess friend, because I do think she's like a Disney princess, because when we were first like at the the venue on year one, when I went to see Zuko, when I went to perform Zuko, everyone was falling in love with her. Like half of production was in love with her, and she does, because the way she talks, in whatever language she's talking in, the way she sings, the way she carries herself, she's so lovable, and she's so just like enticing, and you just get lost in it. You know what I'm saying? And so it was the first time in my life. The reason me and her like hit off like this was the first time in my life, well, since a long time, that I had a female friend I could just openly talk about my experience with guys without like holding back. Because normally, like say with friend A, I would never tell her about this stuff I've been telling you guys about my experiences with guys, because the one time I slipped a tiny little thing in her house, she was like, oh, I have never seen that before. And the way she said it was like the way that a lot of women say things, where it's like, you're not just saying something like, the statement you're saying, the tone in which you're saying it is giving away more, as in like, you're looking at me like, what do you mean you have those kinds of experiences? Like, I've never had that experience. Like, is this your actual life? Like, kind of thing. So it was one of those. And so, so it was nice to have my other friend B, Disney princess, because we could just talk openly. I didn't care if all of the production could have been in love with her, and nobody could have been in love with me, and I wouldn't care. It wouldn't change anything, because I'm not jealous. So it was really nice. So friend A, last time I was in Italy, she says at some point, I don't know if it was when we were in the car or when we were in her kitchen, and she was just cooking and making us food, and then she was just talking, and she specifically said, and let's imagine that friend B is called, I'm trying to pick a name, Sarah. Let's just use Sarah as an option. She says this, she goes, and I don't even get why Sarah got to perform in the Arena di Verona. Like, she can't even really sing that well. And I was like, you just said what? Like, that's when I heard the pride of her generation, and I heard something that I was like, I can't, these are the moments where I'm around women that I can't stand for. I was like, you can't tell me right now that she can't sing. If you're upset you didn't get to perform, or you wish you'd gotten to do that by her age, because friend B, she's not the same age as me. She's like about 3 or 4 years older. So I think she's 31 right now. If you're upset, and also I'm thinking, you've sang on Broadway in New York City. Like, that's like the stage of the world, like the stage everybody would want to sing on. Like, do you know what I'm saying? If you're anything to do with it. So what do you mean? She's not even cracked out of Europe. And I've understood so much about like how, like, for a lot of these guys who I've spoken to in Italy, I'm gonna miss them. I'm so sad I didn't get to be with them today. And there's gonna be everybody there, and Paul and Vaughn and everyone, but it's fine. I'm actually happy I'm not there, and I'm gonna explain that, and you guys are gonna understand why in this video. So I was like, you have sung on Broadway in New York City. You have like been to the most prestigious, like, literal theater schools in America. Like, people in this country, like people that are in Italy, would die to have that opportunity. Everybody here is trying their best to try and gain those kinds of opportunities, and you're going to sit here and tell me about friend B that I can't believe, because I guess one of her theater productions, they performed at Arena di Verona. It's like where I would have been today. But it's okay, because honestly, I'm at peace with it. Like I said, guys, I don't feel sorry for me. Like, it's okay, because I understand what's happening to me, and I have to just kind of take it. This is what it takes to be a winner. You got to take the wins and the losses, and how you take the losses, it also matters, because it's your time to regroup. And I'm actually grateful for this, because I don't think I would have shared all of this with you guys. So everything even missing being performing on stage with Zuko on his birthday is worth it for you guys. Even though I'm really sad because I was so excited to be there for Zuko's birthday, and I really wanted to pray for him and like just be in the country and just be there praying, like, you know, and praying against Jezebel in his life. I'll still do it, but it's not the same like when you're in a country. That's why I think I value about traveling. But anyway, so yeah, to hear her say that, and I had to be like, and by the way, and Sarah, and because when she said it, you got to realize I've been there every single year in the summer. So it's like every year things are happening and I'm noticing stuff. The first year, me and friend B, so-called Sarah, on the first year, we were the vibe. Like backstage, we were the vibe. Like when we would be going on stage, me and her be doing full-blown dance moves together, and like everyone would be joining in, and we were just the whole time we were the vibe. Like I was like, because one night she wasn't feeling too good because of certain things, so I invited some of the guys from production to her hotel room because she'd asked me if I would come and stay with her. I was like, sure. So I came there, I downloaded all these games you can play, like Heads Up, everything like you can play on your phone. I bought some beers, I bought some snacks. It was like, and I invited a whole bunch of guys from production to her hotel room so we could have like a little sleepover moment, because I thought that it would cheer her up, give her something to distract her from what was going on. Her friend B, this is. So we were vibing, and we were the vibe, and it was so to the extent that people would ask each of us, like, where's so-and-so, where's so-and-so, asking her where I am, me, and I'm like, living her life. I don't know, like, we're not paying attention to everything what we're doing. We are close and we have hit it, like we have made a connection, but like she's living her life, I'm living my life, and we just regroup whenever we do, it wasn't a big thing. So yeah, so we went through that year of all of that, and then friend A feeling somewhat left out of the situation, but I was like, well, you've been married for 15 years, so you have no idea what we're going through in dating as women of today. You have absolutely no idea. And she would say a lot of tone deaf things, God bless her, about dating, where it's just like, maybe that was how it was like about 15 years ago in 2010, mate, but this is 2025 and it's the ghetto out here. And you have no idea. And anybody who's single right now knows what I'm talking about, right? So it was like that. So me and the other girl would hit it off. So anyway, so then for her to say what she said, and it was actually Italy friend A, who was the reason I started to switch on the older generation, because I remember as I was leaving the first time I went to Italy, I was in her kitchen again. She's just talking, and again, because I'm me, and I just usually, for the most part, I just sit smiling. She was like, and that's the thing as well, your generation and like the younger generation is whatever. And I was so upset with what she said, because at the time I didn't tell anybody until literally 2 days ago, because I was thinking, how are we supposed to have the same level of experience and like understanding that some of you guys who've been doing this for 30 years have, you know what I mean? And like one of the people that she was complimenting is one of the guys who I took with the Coliseum. They took me to the Coliseum, Paul, if you remember him. Paul and Francesca are like my like Italy like ride or die like peeps, and like also Von, also Luca, who I was with, and like a whole bunch of them. They're of that same generation, but the dynamic is different. You know what I mean? So even their dynamic with friend B was different. So then I was just like, how can you say that? Like, really? And especially in front of me, as if like, because that year was the hardest year for me, because she was so codependent on me, knocking on my door. Dun, 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 dun. Can we pray about this? Can we do that? I'm like, I'm not used to codependent people. Like, especially being an older sibling. A lot of older siblings will understand what I'm saying. A lot of younger siblings, God bless them, we love them. They're codependent. They're very codependent. They need somebody else to help them make decisions. They need somebody else to help them. And we love them, and I love them dearly. I love my siblings. My siblings are by far not anything close to the people stressing me out in life right now. But she's very, very codependent. Like, she's codependent on her husband. Like, when things would go wrong, she'd just throw it to him. And I'm like, that's actually crazy, because I've never experienced that kind of situation where I can just have something and just like rely on somebody else to just deal with the issue, other than the relationship I fostered with the Lord. So she was like that with me, and it was really exhausting the first year. So remember, this is 3 years ago. So that would have been when I was just 25, aka just about having my prefrontal lobe finally forming. And And that's how it was, you know. And so I knew every time I go, the only thing that stresses me out is not the performing on stage, it's not Zucchero, it's not the 10, 20, 30, 50, 60, 70,000 people. Not a big deal. It's actually her. She is the main stress of me going. She is the thing, that person I'm preparing for, because I know she's going to be codependent because she finally has somebody to talk to and all this. And then, like, even when the last time I met, she was like, you know, if you want a friend, if you want to have friends, then you should be a better friend yourself, basically, to say that, like, because I don't really respond to every single message all the time. And it's like, yeah, because I'm in a spiritual battle. Like, this is the point. Like, I'm in a spiritual battle. I brought up this Jezebel thing to her while I was in Poland, and she kind of just went over her head. I'm like, no, this is a real thing, because like we should care, because Zuko is turning 70 and somebody needs to get in the ring and someone needs to fight freaking Jezebel. So when this whole situation went down and I saw this woman in the airport, before she started speaking to me, I just looked at her and I had that feeling in my chest I've had many times whenever I'm dealing with women. And I'm just like, I already know where this is going. Like, this is going to be one of those where no matter how many times I tell the same story, I'm not bothering to tell you guys what happened. No matter how many times I tell people the same story, no matter how many times, whatever, no one's going to believe me, because the situation isn't going to make sense, and it doesn't really make any sense if I tell you guys. So that's why I'm not going to bother to get to that point. What I'm going to acknowledge is that on a spiritual level, I took an L. I took an L, and I'm not mad about the L that I took, because when the flights were like, when I realized the flights are backwards, and I had messaged them to say, oh, by the way, the flights are off, I was like, God, if I don't go, I don't care. I just wish I had never gone to the airport. But I'd said to God directly, I was like, God, listen, if I don't go, I don't care. I don't want to be there. Like, I don't want to be in that energy space. Like, she's one of the few people, like probably the last person in my life who I'm allowing to like help to draw me back from just like exploding the way that I want to explode into the atmosphere, you know, like dulling my shine. Because like, she's one of those people. It's a thing that happens with us as women. That's why I have so much respect for Sarah Conda. She's on Dad V Girls. They even shouted out my comment on their podcast, right? Dad V Girls, you should check them out, because I've been watching them a lot, because it's been healing my healing. It's been really healing. And it's this dad and this woman, and they have 5 5 daughters. And the mom, she's exactly like me as a personality, exactly like me. Like, when she parties hard, but like the people she cares about, like she looks after them, like in more ways than most women would bother, and in ways that most women would find excuses why they can't, you know. So I love her. She's literally Sarah Conda on Dad V Girls. I love her. Okay. I absolutely love her, and like, you know, to see her relationship with her girls, because I know that for women, like, this is one of the reasons I was scared about being a mom myself. I know that for women, it's hard for some women. It happens to some guys as well. If you ask my brother, he would say they're all just bitches. And he's not wrong, because he helped me to understand that concept, to be honest, just from him just talking and explaining stuff, because he's the opposite. He's the complete opposite. You know, both my brothers are. They are complete opposite of that. So I'm like, oh, I get it. Like, now I get it. But like, she's so humble. Sarah. This is Sarah Conda. Maybe, is that why I chose her name? No, I don't think so. Sarah's one of my alias names. I have a bunch of names I give guys that are not my actual name when they ask me for my name. Sarah is one of them. I have a few of them. Because a guy texted me yesterday, he was like, hey, Sarah. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I used that name. I told you that was my name. Anyway, but this is before I knew about Sarah Conda as well, by the way. That's just something I've been doing since all the way back, even when I was in a relationship, because it's like booking a cab and stuff. It's easier to say that than my government name, because it's hard for people to spell my government name. Long story. So yeah, I respect her, and I love watching her, because she doesn't really make that much of an effort, like in terms of, she doesn't have to be doing all this extra makeup and all this extra this. She kind of just stands on who she is as a woman, and she's taken a step back, because the whole channel is called Dad V Girl, so it's all about her husband and their daughters. And that's me. Like, I don't need to be in the forefront. I'm so happy to just see my people that I care about win and be happy. So that's why I relate to Sarah Conda, because she's literally like, she is who I aspire to be, like, as a woman, as a wife, as a mother. She is the epitome of that example. And so what I realized and what she's proven to me is that it is possible not to fall into this thing that other mums seem to fall into. My Bible's in the airport, that's crazy. Which is getting jealous of your daughter. And it doesn't just happen like in families, it happens in generations. So like, I know the main reason I don't have a good relationship with the older women is because they are jealous, right? They're cheating husbands, want a little slice of me. I don't want a slice of them, because like, why am I going to go and be with you, you old fat and fugly, who's married, by the way? You want me to disrespect your wife by being with you? Hell no, I don't want to be involved in that. Even that's why when the women look at me a certain way and they treat me a certain way, it's like, do you think I want to hurt you? Like, do you think I want to come against you? You know what I mean? And if whatever. And then also because if we then succeed greater than they expected us to, that's what basically happens. So I'm not surprised that friend A was talking about friend B the way she was, because I was like, that's that dynamic of, oh, when she was your backing vocalist, it was fine. But now that she's now making a name for herself, because I've even thought about myself, like, I'm new to this. I'm new to everything. Like, and so it's all well and good and fun and cute. And you're all telling me to go to the studio because I'm a babe in this situation. I'm not used to this. But what about if I actually succeed? Like, what if I actually get good? Which I've been practicing, I've been trying, like, you know, and that's why I was going to bring this specific thing up in this trip, by the way. That was my plan, because I was going to call her out and just say, look, of all the things, she can get away with a lot of things. I didn't like that from her, and I didn't know how she was going to respond, and that's why I thought we were going to fall out, because I was like, surely if I bring this up, I know this generation, they have pride, they would have whatever, it's going to be the end of our friendship. So I'm not surprised that yeah, when everything happened as it happened, like, this is what I'm saying, guys, it's crazy. Everything is crazy. Everything is actually crazy. And like, I didn't really want to be there. The only reasons I wanted to go is to see the guys, like the group, to obviously, most importantly, I was so honored to have been invited to perform with Zuko on his birthday, on his 70th birthday, which I'm not going to be there. And I was thinking about how, what a lovely story to tell my own children one day, if I ever have them, that, like, you know, but it's okay, because I do think we would have fallen out, because I have now got to the point, like, you know, one of the things she always says to me is, you don't really say what you're thinking. You're like, I feel a bit disconnected from you because you don't really, and I told her the very first time I went to see her, I said, you know, I'm pretty sure that if I follow your advice, all this advice about be open, be honest, all that, I was like, I'm pretty sure you're going to be one of the first people that cuts me off, because you're not going to be able to handle what you're asking for right now. And like, that's what I said to her, because I don't think anybody is. I don't think anybody can handle it. Like, I've got to about 2% of my 10%, maybe, of what I'm holding inside, releasing about 10% of it as of now. So it's just like, I don't think you can handle it, especially being in her generation, you know, and especially if she was that offended because the other friend B had done what she had done, and was like, how can she perform at the Arena di Verona, which is where we're going to be at now? She said something like, she's not even that good at singing. And I was just like, especially because, bearing in mind, you guys will know, I didn't think I could sing. I still don't think I can. I've never thought I could ever sing in my life. And it's something I struggle with. Just like I feel like using my voice is the last thing I would like to use. I'd rather use my body. Listen, I love using my body. I love having a body. I love the body that the Lord gave me, because I love moving my body, right? So I'm like, God, why do I have to use my voice? Why do I have to speak? Like, why do I have to sing? Like, I hate that I have to do those things. And the only reason I grew any confidence was because I'm singing with her, again, who has sung on Broadway in New York City. I'm singing with her, and I'm thinking to myself, like, if she tells me I'm a soprano and she says she thinks, girl, what are you even worried about? You can obviously sing. Of course, I'm thinking now that, okay, maybe I can actually sing. Like, it's the first person who's complimented my voice. where I'm like, oh, maybe I can actually sing. And then you guys as well, like when I did my singing performance, I've listened back to it and it's really bad. I'm tempted to just sing, like sitting here, like, and re-sing some of those songs just for you guys to hear a better version, because a lot of things went down with that as well. One of the things was like the guy who was doing the audio visual, and this is why I do your own events, guys. This is why I do everything for myself. The guy who was adjusting like the audio, he kept like trying to add like things like auto tune and add this and add that, and then I couldn't hear myself properly, and I was really trying to listen to my own voice while I was singing so I could like make sure I'm singing well. And I didn't want to complain about that at the time. That's why I didn't bring it up. That's why I said, if you guys remember the video, so look, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let you guys hear it for what it was, because this is what happened. That's all that matters. Like, as a winner, you know that on the day, whatever happens, happens. So there's no point in trying to explain yourself, because this is just what happened. So I was just like, this is what happened, full stop. You know what I mean? But he was kept adjusting it. And I was saying to him, I was like, can you stop doing that? Like, while we're in the sound check, while we're doing the sound check, I was like, can you just leave my raw vocals? Just make sure that my voice is loud enough and the track is loud enough. That's all I want. I want it to be as real, as raw as possible. Like, if I sound horrific, let me sound horrific by myself. That's my own lesson. That's how I'm going to do better. Like, don't try and adjust my voice. And that's what he was doing. And I think he thought he was adding some like layers to it, but he wasn't. It was just actually making me confused, because I could feel while I was on the stage, I could hear my voice coming back from the thing. I was thinking, what is that? Because I've practiced obviously singing with my raw vocals. I had recorded all those songs, me singing them with the backing tracks to listen back to as well. So I knew that I was being adjusted. Anyway, so yeah, that's a story for another day. And so that was what happened basically in the last 48 hours. And when I started talking to this lady, and she was telling me there was all fires at Stansted Airport, and by the way, and all this stuff as well. So that turns out that I think that the real thing was they were trying to find a way to like give me a reason not to get on the flight, whereas I was trying to tell them I have to get on this flight because I was going to arrive in Italy at midnight and we were going to have to go to Verona in the morning. I already had to change flights, which wasn't their fault. So anyway, once I started talking to her, the moment I looked at her, it was one of those, like, I have these spiritual moments where I just look at people, I just am in a moment and I just know what I'm dealing with exactly immediately. And in that moment I was like, oh, Jezebel. Before she said I couldn't get on the flight, I just knew it was Jezebel. So I was thinking maybe we'll have a little whatever, and then when you get on the flight, but I was like, oh, Jezebel. Like, before I even spoke to her in my head, I could tell, because I can feel it on a spiritual level. And it was my own fault for not being more prepared in that sense, as in I just thought really that I have been saying all this stuff in the spiritual world, so you guys won't know about it. Nobody else knew about any of the stuff I'm telling you. But between me and the spiritual world, I've been all like, I'm ready, I'm coming for Jezebel. Last night I was praying against Jezebel in Italy, against Zucchero, I'm praying in tongues and all this stuff, right? So I knew, and the spiritual world did, where I was going and what I was thinking to do. And I was thinking, I don't care if my friend is taking this seriously. I don't care if she's prepared to just push this to the side of, oh, we've done the best we can. We're only doing one. The only reason we're only doing one day, by the way, they're only performing tonight, and that's it. You know why they're only doing one day? Because for whatever reason, production somehow can't afford to pay for us to do 10 days. So he's paying out of his own pocket. That's when I knew it was Jezebel. Like, I was like, this is Jezebel, and I'm not crazy, because I know, like, this is months. This has been going on for months, you guys. I've been just holding this in, and I've not been saying anything. And I was thinking, you guys really on production, like, there's hundreds of us in the whole production, right? There's hundreds. You're telling me that on his birthday, on his 70th birthday, you don't have the budget for him to do what he wants to do. And clearly he wants us there. I didn't even realize he wanted us there that seriously. For a few years, it seemed like he was being forced in some way, because a lot of things would always go wrong in terms of the booking of it. So I'm thinking maybe he doesn't really want us there. You know what I mean? But then to now know that he was paid, it was him, again, long live the patriarchy, hello. He pays for everybody to be there today because he wanted it for his birthday. I was like, if this is what this man wants for his birthday, the very least we can do is do whatever it costs for his birthday. I don't care if he wants us there for 10 days in Arena di Verona, because he's still going to be in Arena di Verona for the whole 10 days. I'm like, we should be able to do whatever this man wants, and we can't for some reason. So yeah, oh my gosh, I've been fuming about this for months. It's one of the reasons I've been so angry. It's one of the reasons I've been so angry, because he's another pure, precious, perfect soul. Like I said, like my other friend B, just lovely, trusting, and trusting in the wrong people that are just taking advantage of you. And I'm just like, no, I can't just sit back. So of course, Jezebel had to make sure I didn't even make that flight, because she knew I was coming for war as well. I was like, so when this lady starts talking to me, blah, blah, blah. And obviously after the fact, Stansted is all telling us a whole bunch of reasons why they had issues. There was a fire, there was a this, whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is, right now, as we speak, I'm making this video. In a couple of hours, these guys are going to be on stage with Zuko. I'm not going to be there. I'm in the United Kingdom. Why? Jezebel took a W, and you know what, God? Fair. Because it's my own problem. It's my own fault for not doubling down more in my spiritual preparation. Like, I really should have fasted. I really should have, like, gone deeper with the Lord, like, to prepare for this situation. So, and I shouldn't have just assumed that it was going to be like another trip, because like I said, would have been the 4th time going to Italy. So by this point, I have an exact, like, literal situation of exactly what I do. I get to the airport, usually film a video before I even go to check-in, because I usually arrive before check-in. Check-in's 3 hours before the flight. I usually arrive before that. And that's just to make sure nothing goes wrong, which helped me the last time, because they end up having all these issues at the airport. So it actually made a huge difference. I arrived an hour before I was going to, right? Otherwise, I would have arrived 2 hours before check-in, but they were having all these issues on the airline's site or whatever. So I do that, you know what I mean? I check in my bags, I do my security, and then once I've leave security, that's when my panic ends. I've done everything I can. I've got my boarding pass. I'm just going to wait, check the gates while I'm doing whatever else I'm doing. I'll just check the gates to see. And anyways, it's modern day, so I get told where my gate is. Like, I'll get a notification on my phone anyway, but I still check in the airport, you know, just in case, and listen out to what they're saying. Eventually, after shopping around, I go and get some food, maybe a drink, not always a drink, but sometimes a drink. And by drink, I mean like an adult beverage. Obviously, I always have a drink, you know what I mean, like as in a drink, but like, so whatever. And then I usually head to the gate, and I don't even head to the gate as soon as it opens, because I know there's going to be a whole line. Although when I'm flying to Italy, they always book me on priority, so I can always like skip the main line and go straight onto the flight. So that's why I'm especially not like rushing to get to the gate or whatever. So then I get to the gate, I leave in good time. I still get there before the gate closes, you know what I mean? I still end up waiting in the queue, even in the priority queue, and then I get on the flight, and then I try to sleep if I can, because I know that the moment I get off that flight, it's almost always every time I'm going to be showtime from like the second I get off the plane. And it's been like that every single time. So like when I'm just thinking this is going to be the same thing. Like, we've done this 100 times. I've flown to London, Milano, Malpensa airport, 100, like all these times, 100 times. This is crazy. But all these times I've flown there, so it's not a big deal. It was a bigger deal when I went to Poland, because it was different. It was a new country, and you know, whatever. So I'm not worried about any of that, and I feel like that's what works against me, is I forgot I'm in an actual spiritual battle that I signed up for. I called out Jezebel. I told her that I was ready for her and I wanted to fight, and I wasn't ready. So I'm gonna spend the next few days, like, especially while I should have been in Italy, being here, I'm gonna spend those days just like taking some time mentally to shift my brain into this new season, like, and not just from that standpoint, but from the standpoint of, I'm grateful I didn't get to see my friend, to be honest with you, because I don't think our relationship is going to last, because I don't think she can handle it. I think it's fun for her now. I think if something big happens for me, any big thing, as a woman, like, I think she's going to suffer with it. She's going to struggle to understand why I would get an opportunity that's big, when, you know, whatever. I think she'll struggle with it, you know. And I honestly think that maybe part of the reason the Lord let this happen, because obviously, as I said to you guys in a previous video, yet from yesterday or the day before, that God lets things happen for a reason. The reason I believe the Lord would allow all this to happen, and even me be sad, you know, to not have performed with Zucchero and whatever, and like, I'm sad to not be able to pray for him while I'm there, because I really wanted to pray for him. And I'd even said to God, I was like, God, if I see him, I'm going to ask him if I can pray for him. Like, you know, if I bump into him and he's by himself, and the Jezebel wasn't there, I'm going to say, hey Zuko, do you want somebody to would you like somebody to pray for you? Like, and I was gonna ask him, like, do you want me somebody to pray for you? And I would have, just, held his hands and said, what is it you want to say to the Lord, to God? What is it I can pray for you for? And I would have prayed for him. I love to hold people when I pray for them, and like embrace them, hug them, hold their hands, something that's just like connecting our spirits so they can feel everything that's in me, like, as in the Lord, like onto them. So I'm sad about that part, but then I also think, what, like for my own personal journey, I just feel like this is what had to happen, because I didn't think it was going to end well. I think especially because now I got these tattoos and my personality's changed, I was ready to start talking about stuff that might make people uncomfortable. I don't think that it was going to end well for her, like for me to actually say what I had to say. And she always tells me to say what I have to say. She's always like, you're so quiet, you don't really say what you're thinking, and like you need to, like, if you want to build friendship. And it's like, listen, if I talk, I won't make friendship. Although having said that, and I'll leave on this very positive note, shout out to all the friends I have, because I have a lot of friends now, like good friends, not loads of them, but a small group, and not like one group, but different people, but there's a group of them. You can call them a group. And I didn't believe this was possible. I didn't believe it was possible I would get to this stage in my life and becoming like who God called me to really be, and I would have people, especially females, as my friends. But I have female friends, like a whole bunch of them, and it's really cool, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm so grateful. Like, I'm so grateful to have friends and people who love and accept me for who I am, and are not threatened by my ideas, who are not threatened and jealous about what I'm saying, who like have big dreams for themselves. Because like for me, like I said, I want to see us all win. I want to see us like, what's your dream? I don't care what your dream is, but like, what is it, so let's dream big together. So I'm so happy for that. Like, so I can't complain in that aspect. But yeah, guys, that's the story. I really just laid it all out. I really just gave you guys everything that just happened. Like a lot of stuff I haven't really mentioned, because every time I've been back to Italy, it's always hard for me. Like I said, I always have to dig deep, because I know that even though I'm the like younger one of the youngest there, especially now, I'm one of those that people are very codependent with. The older generation, I'm used to the older generation being very codependent on me to just kind of like do things, and I don't necessarily mind it. The thing that I mind is that when it then suits them and they then just treat me as if I'm just a child, and it's like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not cool. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna leave that there. That's the story in Balmore, Italy. You guys are currently sitting on the back of on a protein shake, because my tripod is in the airport, which I'm supposed to go back to collect my luggage, because obviously I couldn't collect it before. Like, this is just, it's exhausting, it's tiring, but I felt like I had the energy to make this video, and I felt like I should make it for you guys to know. And it's part of the journey, and I'll be honest, I know it doesn't sound good, but I'm not mad that I'm not in Italy. I'm quite happy. I'm so happy to not be there, because I was really worried about it, especially because yesterday was the first day of my period as well, and I've been feeling a bit ill, and I'm just exhausted. So I'm like, oh, the idea that I don't have to be there for all the negatives kind of makes me feel like, thank God I'm back here. You wouldn't believe that. And that's why I say to you guys all the time, I don't hate the UK. I don't hate living here. What I do hate in general is the world itself. Not the planet, but the people. Anyways, there you go, you guys. If life's a game, it's pay to win. I dropped all the juicy gossip details, if any gossiper wants to hear it today. But that's not why I told you guys. I told you because I want you to understand, and I want to hold myself accountable. I wasn't prepared. I'm going to spend a few days. I don't even have my Bible. My Bible's in the airport still right now. I'm going to prepare myself mentally, because yeah, me and Jezebel were in this thing, and she was ready and I wasn't, and I was taking it not seriously enough. thinking, oh, I'm just gonna hop on the flight and get there and whatever. No, of course I'm not gonna get on the flight. Of course she's not gonna let that happen, because she knows there's a warrior coming to tear things down. Because I was like, this time I'm not gonna do what I've done the last few times, because of my friend. I would always like hold back, shy back my spiritual things. And like, even when I tell her about like, oh, I had this vision, I have that dream, she's like, wow, girl, you really be having visions and dreams. And again, it's in that tone of like, I'm what I'm saying is true, what I'm saying, but I'm also saying this like, oh, wow, that doesn't happen to me kind of thing. And like, why is it happening to you? And I knew this time, I was like, however she is, I'm coming for the kingdom of darkness. Like, I don't care. I'm going to go straight into battle, and I'll whatever has to happen. If I have to book my own flight and leave early, I don't care. There's a man who's there who I want to go and pray on his behalf. There is a principality, a demon that has just been there for a very long time, and I'm going to go to war with that thing once I get on the soil. And that's why I couldn't get to the soil, because they knew, the spiritual world, they knew I was coming for them, and they retaliated. And for that, Jezebel, well done. And you're the only person, she's really the only person making anything interesting about being a Christian right now, because she's actually making this fight interesting. So yeah, cool. I took the L. I took a loss. But guess what? The Bible says the righteous fall 7 times, but they get back up again. I will get back up. I will do what I need to do. I will do the mental, physical, biblical, spiritual, emotional work, and I'm coming back. But yeah, anyways, and on that note, happy birthday to Zucro. I'm sad I can't be on stage with him and gaze at him on stage. I love looking at him on stage. I was singing and just like looking over my shoulder and seeing him there, and like hearing his raw vocals in the mic is so beautiful. It's something you can't compete with, and just like hearing the band, and just, oh, the band are amazing. So I'm gonna miss that, and I'm sad I'm not there for that today. But it was only one show because of freaking Jezebel. And nobody else was fighting back against that. Everybody else just took that as if it was reasonable. I'm going to spend some time with the Lord. I'm not going to rush anything. I'm going to hear from God what he wants from me in the next few days, now that my plans have changed, and not jump anything. But yeah, she took the W today. Okay, Jezebel. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Me and her, we just having way too much fun for this, because I don't really care. Like, the problem is that when I realized it was her, like, I honestly don't really care that much, because I feel like we're kind of in this battle, and it's keeping everything interesting. And I always know when it's Jezebel, because the reason why I know when it's Jezebel versus me, because I'm a woman. If it's a man, she can just get in this on the seductress level, but when it's a woman like me, she just makes situations that just don't make sense, and things get hella complicated, and there's all these reading between the lines that has to happen for you to understand what's really going on. So that's when, like, I saw this lady. The second I saw her and the way she looked at me, I was like, Jezebel. Immediately I could tell it was her. I could see it was her. I could feel it was her immediately. Before this woman had said anything, I just thought she was just going to give me a hard time and then let me on the flight and whatever. But it wasn't that, was it? No. We had all this stuff, and then it turns out there was all stuff going on in the airport I was completely unaware of, like the fires and all this stuff, and changing flights, delaying flights, and a lot of stuff happening. So anyway, I'm not mad to not be on the flight. The only thing is, I'm sad to not be there for Zucro, because he's somebody of the patriarchy. Long live the patriarchy. Who I really am so grateful for, because he has given me an opportunity to work, to develop myself as a singer the last literally 3 years. So I really wanted to be able to be there and like do my best for his birthday. And for that, I do feel guilty and I do feel bad. Anyways, if life's a game, it's pay to win. God bless you all. God loves you. Since the sound of airplanes, I don't even want to be in an airplane right now. I couldn't tell you guys how much I don't want to be on an airplane. I don't want to be in the air. That's something we'll talk about more on another date. And it's not because of fear. I'm just exhausted. I'm tired. And probably because of my period, I guess. If life's a game, it's pay to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. I'll see you in my next one.